What's going on, everyone? My name is Spencer, and we're about to start a new series called Java for Beginners Zombie Survival, which is a text based game. Okay, so let's get started. The IDE that I'm going to be using to create my Java programs is going to be Eclipse. If you need help installing Eclipse, you should be able to go to YouTube, and there's plenty of videos on where to download and everything that you need to get started. Go ahead and launch. All right, to get this, close out the welcome screen. We're going to create our first program. In this video, we're just going to go over the basic things that you need for the program that we're going to be the game that we're going to be creating. So, and then the next video, we'll actually start getting into programming the text-based game. So we'll go new Java project. We're going to name it first program. First program. We're going to hit finish. All right, then you want to right click over the project that you just created, go to new, and create a new class. The name of this class is going to be main. And we're going to make sure that we check the public static void main. This is a method which they're going to go ahead and create it for you, so that's less typing that we have to do. All right, we have the public static void main that it automatically created for us. Now we're going to talk about some comments. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about is this to do. So you do // then capital TODO. And as you can see on the left hand side, it has a little like pencil and paper. And basically, you create those so as you're writing code, if you want to come back to something, you can create a little to do and explain to yourself what you're going to actually need to do at that location. Get rid of that. Now we're going to talk about single line comments. Single line comments, whenever you create like a line of code or something, you want to make a comment. It's something like that people, you're pretty sure that somebody's not going to really figure out. Or if you just want to comment on something for years down the road, you come back to it, you'll know what that code actually does. So, two forward slashes, and then type whatever you want. All right, the next one's going to be a multi-line comment. And that's like if you have more than one line you need to talk write out, then you want to use a multi-line. It makes it a lot easier instead of having to do // on every line. You can just do / asterisk, then hit enter, and it creates a multi-line. So as you're typing, you hit enter, you keep going. The next one is going to be JavaDoc. I use this on methods. So whenever you create a new method, just like this is a method here, as you create a new method, you'll be able to highlight over it, just hover over the name, and it will describe what your method does. Well, it's whatever you write in there, but it's like if you have parameters like the string, this is parameters, like you got string array of args, um, it would actually list that as in the JavaDoc. This is something that you keeps you, especially when you have like million lines of code or something like 50 methods or whatever. It keeps you from having to scroll through all the methods to find out what what that method actually does. So the way to do that is the / asterisk asterisk, and you can see it turns blue, and then you can write stuff. But I'll show you more in depth once we start creating methods. Java. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is printing to the console. This is pretty much going to be your first program if you're new to programming. The first thing we're going to do is just write a line of code that's going to print what we want to say to the console. And we're going to do system.out, telling the system that you want to print out this line of code. Alright, we're going to do quotations on the inside of the parentheses, and we can do hello world. And after every line of code, you want to make sure that you do semicolons. Except when you're creating methods. Except like when you create methods, you have curly braces. So if you want to run this, you want to go to the play button, the green play button up top, hit run, hit OK, and you can see on the bottom of the console, we have hello world. All right, and that's using print line. So with print line, if I was to write something else, print line would automatically go to the next line. So how are you? If we run it again, you can see right up under it, how are you? Now here's another way. You do print, okay, this would actually, it will print to the next line because of this one. The how are you up here is a print line. But if we do another system.out.print, and we run that, you'll be able to tell that the hello and what are you doing are going to be on the same line, just like that. Now, if you want them on the same line, but you see the hello and what, it made one word, or they put them together. If you want a space, you can come at hello, just do a little space, and when you run it, it would actually be spaced out. Or you can put a comma, space, and it just made one line. Especially if you have a lot to say, you can split it up like this if you want it on one line. And if you do use print and you want to use an escape character, you can do a \n, which is going to be a special character which allows you, and that's, I'll do that in the wrong spot. Let me do it up here. I could have done it there, but you wouldn't have been able to tell what I've done. If I run it now, it's the same thing as print line. It says, hello, what are you doing? Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be variables. Now, in a variable, you can store different types of information. Like you have bytes, shorts, int, long, float, double, character, boolean, string. For this video, we're mainly going to be using boolean, string, and integers. Now, bytes, it's going to come down like, just for what we're doing right now, it's not going to matter a whole lot. But if you're doing like cell phone programming, making games, where you're limited on the amount of memory that you have in a system, then you want to make sure, like on a byte, it's an integer, which the values that you can go to is like -128 to a +128. So if I do byte and then give it a name, number equals, say I do 127. It's going to be fine. That's the limit. It's 127. But if I do a positive 128, it's going to give it an error, and it's going to tell me to make it into an int or make some type of, it's a mismatch. It cannot handle that because that's outside of a byte. But like we're going to be using like integers, which is like negative 2 billion to a positive 2 billion range. Unless you're going to go higher than that number, then integer is fine. If you need to go higher, then you're going to have to go to a long in Java. You also have like floats and doubles, which is pretty much like decimal point numbers. A double is more accurate than a float. Then you have character, which is a single character, and then boolean, which is pretty much true or false. So what we're going to do is do int. We're going to do like number 1 equals, we're going to say 1000. We do int number 2. We're going to let it equal 650. We can do int total. We can assign it to 0. Okay, and so this is the variable type. We're gonna give it the name, a number 1, number 2, and then total, and we're gonna assign like the value 1000 to that number. So now if I do system.out.print line, instead of doing the quotations this time, I can type in number 1 and then semicolon. And when I run the program, let me add a escape character here. Let me run it again. Okay. And when I run the program, got what are you doing? And then the value 1000. Because in number 1, we assign 1000 to the value. We assign the value 1000 to the variable number 1. And then we can do system.out.print line. Now we can do if we can add text along with the value. So we could do I have space. Okay, now we're going to use the concatenation symbol, which is a plus. Don't get it confused with adding numbers together. This is going to be just combining like strings and stuff like that and values. So it's I have plus. Now I can type in number 1, which is the variable, plus. We can type a space so to space it out. Gold. I have number 1 gold. And that number 1 is going to actually insert the 1000. So it should be I have 1000 gold. As you can see at the bottom, I have 1000 gold. That's how to print out numbers or something that you need to print out to the screen. We'll be using a lot of that during this text-based game. Okay, next we're going to talk about scanner. Now scanner is another class that we're going to have to import. And it comes built in with Java. As you remember here, we have system.out. Now we're doing system.in. So that's going to bring in user input. And you should get red squiggly lines under scanner. And that's because we need to import the class. So I just hover it over, like give it a tap, and then highlight it back over it. Make sure it's highlighted first, then just hover back over it, and should be able to import scanner. And up top, above the main class, you should see import java.util.scanner. So if that doesn't work, you can just type it in at the very top. All right, so what we're gonna do, we can do hello, what is your name? So we're going to print this out to the console. Hello, what is your name? Now we want to get a response from the user. And to do that, we can create a variable of type string name. We're going to assign it an empty value, which is just 2 quotations. And now we can say name equals, we're going to use the scanner. So it's going to be my scanner dot, we're going to use next line, and it's going to be the whole word line. As you can see, this pops up. This helps you in it. If you can hover over, and it'll tell you what it actually does. This is Java doc over here. And so my scanner dot next line. There it goes. All right. And so what that's doing is whenever the user inputs, it's going to grab the next line and it's going to store it inside a name. Now I could have just did next, but say if they type in a first name, space, and then their last name, the next would only grab the first name. It would only grab the first word, whatever was written. The next line will grab whatever they write on the entire line. And then we can respond to them. We can do hello space. We could do like we did the concatenation up top. Name. How are you doing? So now when we run this, hello, what is your name? Click on it. Hello, Spencer Gainey. I didn't put a space. How are you doing? Space here. Right before the, it's good whenever you're doing a concatenation, you do a space at the end and then beginning of the next string. Then, hello, Spencer Gainey. How are you doing? All right. This should be it for this video. Next video we should start getting into there might be a little bit more things we got to go over, but we should start making the program next video. Well, thank you for watching.